Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh? It's a house!
Did you hear what I said? You know, that's just one step above stupid.
5 brain cells, 4 aren't working.
Have you lost the last 3 brain cells, or do you just have cabbage for brains? Come on, man. What's wrong with you? There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
I can do it like that. It'll look, it's sort of like my show. Hey, you know, when I was on the road, you know, I'm just sitting there. How's it going? How's it going? All right. Well, we're going to have people can join the show. We tried that earlier. I think I got it fixed. I don't know what the hell happened to all the settings I used to have. I'm going to have to start over again on StreamYard. It just sort of messes up on its own. Nobody touches a damn thing, and there it goes. It's all gone. Let's see, what was I gonna put here? Oh yeah, you guys need the. Now, so for later, I'll put this pin the StreamYard's thing here for later. So don't call in now or anything. I'm not going to answer it. All right. Right. There we go. I'll pin that to the top. If I can figure out how to get it to work. Alright, so we just pin that to the top. And let's see what else is there. Oh yeah, I gotta take this thing. Just gonna move it to... I guess it's kind of weird. Let me see what this might look like. I bet it looks bad. And there's no way to test any of this stuff when you're not live. Alright, so I guess in this one, if I click on a comment over here, it just shows up on the screen. But if I was to use my main, this one, and I click on one of these, it goes, yeah, it just goes wherever the hell it wants to go. But if I click on the comment over there, then it goes inside that cool little window. So I'm not really sure how to get that, you know, how to fix any of that. Guess we'll see how it goes. Well, the FBI has put out a statement as well. It's on various websites out there. I don't know how they're getting, like, what, you know, I mean, I don't see it posted anywhere. So there must be a mailing list, like if you signed up over there. You know, after those press conferences with the sheriff, they always say, hey, come give me your email. And then I wonder if they sort of have a dual thing that they share, where, you know, the FBI and the sheriff, since now the FBI is really running the show, maybe they transferred the emails to them and then they're sending out updates. Although the sheriff updated something today too. So the FBI's statement today says for more than a week, FBI agents, analysts, and professional staff have worked around the clock to reunite Nancy Guthrie with her family. You know, that could be anything. Again, see how that's just reunite her with her family. It could mean alive or dead, right? The FBI is not aware of any continued communication between the Guthrie family and suspected kidnappers. So what they're saying in that sense is that there was communication with the suspected kidnapper. It's just not continued conversation. Right? So they are certain that they had been communicating with the suspected kidnapper. This just isn't continued communication. There wasn't any new communication. All right. Hey, thanks, Willie Awesome up there. All right, and then down here it says, nor have we identified a suspect or person of interest. And see, I always tell you guys, the word identified, what does that even mean? Does it mean that they haven't identified a person to us? Or just in general? See, I just think they're really clever in the way they word stuff. They go, no, we hadn't identified anybody to you guys. You know, nor have we identified a suspect or a person of interest in this case at this time. Right, that means they haven't identified a person of interest to the public at this time. Okay, that's all it means. It doesn't mean that they haven't identified anybody. Hey, thanks, Mike Redmon. Hopefully they give us some new info. Shout out to Just Me. Keep up the great work. Who's Just Me? I mean, is that you? I'm not sure who Just Me. I mean, I think I've seen somebody in here named Just Me. I don't know what you're referring to. No idea. What does that mean? Who is that? Is that somebody that said something above, or maybe you can explain it? Anybody know what that means? There's somebody in here that made a comment that I missed. Maybe I missed something. I have it on top chat. I made it what? What does that mean? I made it. LOL. Oh, I'm asking about the question up there. So what do you mean, shout out to Just Me? What did they say up above? I must have missed it. Mike, can you type it in? I don't know what you're referring to. I'd like to give them a shout out too, if you can tell me what you're referring to. I guess nothing. Let's see. Then it says, so let's just start that sentence over. The FBI is not aware of any continued communication between the Guthrie family and suspected kidnappers. Oh, well, there you go. That's all you got to tell me. Just say, because I've seen Just Me in here before, but I don't know if I need to say something. So, hey, shout out to Just Me and Mike Redmond, the husband and wife duo. Very cool, very cool. I just had no idea. See, I read everything literally up in the comments. I'm trying to figure out. Man. Hey, look at that. Annabella Roma, 40 months. What is that? 3 years and 4 months. All right. So right here's an additional person. Let me start that over again. Sorry. I'll just start over from the beginning. For more than a week, FBI agents, analysts, and professional staff have worked around the clock to reunite Nancy Guthrie with her family. The FBI is not aware of any continued communication between Guthrie family and the suspected kidnappers because they were waiting to hear something today, around the deadline. And this tells me that they do believe that the communication that they had previously, the 2 other times, were the kidnappers. That also says that nor have they identified a suspect or person of interest in this case at this time, meaning they haven't told us about, they haven't identified to us a person. Additional personnel from FBI field offices across the nation continue to deploy to Tucson. We are currently operating a 24-hour command post that includes crisis management experts, analytics support, and investigative teams, but we still need the public's help. You can call 1-800-CALL-FBI. So what does that mean to you guys? I think that, what do you think this sentence means right here? I mean, I don't know. I guess we have to sort of try to, maybe we should step back and look at the case and just sort of pretend that law enforcement never went over to the family member's house. Maybe we could try to do something like that and just look at it and sort of, you know, like we were the first day when we were looking at it. What do you guys think of that? Maybe this is, you know, at this, I still can't get out of my head that they're over at the daughter's house taking photograph after photograph after photograph inside, and they're not there. Yes, they were given permission to be there, apparently, and they're back out there tonight, I guess. So that's interesting, isn't it? Okay. But while you're watching, you guys, if you could please help support the channel, I would appreciate it. We did a show earlier today. Boy, that thing was just slogging along. So it'd be great to have the regular freaks in here. Maybe help support the channel, get us to somewhere reasonable today. And we've already asked that question. Yeah. Catherine, I think a lot of people think that there's a connection there. We already did a poll on that, I think, yesterday. So we have this, and yeah, I mean, what non-nefarious reason would they be over there taking photographs? You know, some people have pointed to where Nancy Guthrie here went back in November, early November, to meet with her mom in Tucson, and was, you know, there she was talking about how she's still lives there, and they went out to lunch and stuff in the video, and that's not that long ago, right? It's not that long. It's not that long ago. So what if, you know, people are suggesting that, you know, it's a possibility somebody saw that and realized, wow, this rich lady's mom is still living there. And, you know, who knows if in the conversations they talked about how her husband had died and she's all alone over there. Yeah, there's no search warrant because they asked for permission and got it, right? I'm not sure what that means. I mean, maybe, isn't this possible that Annie's husband is no longer even at the house and has disappeared, and Annie said, sure, come in and take pictures, you know. She's all for law enforcement figuring out who took, you know, killed her mom. So maybe she just gave permission willingly like that. We've talked about it many times in San Antonio. Yeah, they needed to do a warrant because I guess legally there's other, you know, things I heard earlier today. Yeah, we know that. We know that, Karen. I just said that. I saw that earlier today on a show, just like you did. Let's see. Could be that Nancy was effectively doxxed by the interview. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, wouldn't that be crazy? Because she shows up in Ben Verified. You can just find her house, and she's right there. So as long as you know what her name is. Yeah, I said that already, you guys. The distraction. I've said that many times, that the ransom itself could just be a distraction by the kidnappers to keep law enforcement looking in one direction and away from the actual people who did this. And I must have said that 57 times on here. There's just so many different angles. I'll tell you what, Dan Bongino, though, he's a man. I feel like he got removed from the FBI. He doesn't think very good, you know. He's not very logical. He brought up tonight on Hannity, who was immediately rebuffed by Nancy Grace. He said, you know, we really can't, rule out the possibility she got injured and wandered off. You know, because, she got what? It's just garbage. Absolutely idiotic statement again. That's impossible. Okay, I can't say it's, quote, impossible. It's just so incredibly unlikely. So let me see. As Nancy is injured and struggling out the house, she decided to reach up and disconnect the camera, the doorbell camera. And Nancy Grace didn't even mention that. She says, well, he can't walk 50 feet. But that's not the logical argument you make. She can't walk 50 feet, therefore she would have been found right outside. Yeah, that's not the argument you make. The argument you make is, so you're saying that Nancy Guthrie, while injured, she fell, hit her head, and she's incredibly injured, took the time to remove the Ring doorbell camera, or the doorbell camera from the house. That's the slam dunk reply that completely removes the possibility. Well, that's not true, Gray. Maybe her arm spasmed and it grabbed it and then it... Well, where's the camera? Well, she took it with her, Gray. She was still trying to record. Get the hell out of here. All right. So Dan Bongino is still right back to his same old, very unclear thinking. That's probably why, the real reason he's not there. Okay? I don't dislike him. He is... It's the same crap that he used to do all the time, and I just go, wow, that's the least likely thing, Dan. That's even less likely. Yeah, that's even less likely, Dan. And then here he is again, throwing out the same damn unlikely stuff. It's unreal almost. Right? I mean, Nancy Grace's rebuttal was nowhere near as just devastating as mine. That's why when I did like back in the day, the Kanika Jenkins videos I would make, when I would debunk the crazy conspiracy theories, I would do it in a way that was absolutely irrefutable and with no out for the other side, and they would get angry and start accusing me of being some agent working for the government, instead of just realizing that their initial video was intentionally made to be full of crap, all right? And so... like, if you were arguing this, you would definitely say immediately that, no, she didn't do that because the Ring doorbell camera was disconnected, Dan. Well, maybe I would love to have heard somebody say that to him and see what his response was. I think there was something like that I missed. And he said, well, that's why it could be this other, then he went on to the other thing. But why did you even suggest that thing when the thing that you suggested has almost no chance of being real? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Patel's an idiot. I think he's just very naive, and you know what? The FBI has been doing some great things, so he gets the credit for that. He's done less of his stuff that he was doing originally, when he would just jump out there and start telling stuff, and he basically just under fire right away with some crazy cases right out of the gate. But I'm not a huge Kash Patel fan either. I just think he's been doing better than he was. Like when he came out and said, the suspect in the shooting has been captured. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, now we let that guy go. How are you not sure? You gotta know exactly what you're sure of when you say something like that. Yeah, he did. It was really... I actually, when Dan Bongino said that tonight, I blinked a couple times, wondering if somehow my eyes changed what I heard. It was just... It was the weirdest damn thing in the world. How could you possibly suggest that? Yeah, I was just sitting there, just... Oh, man, that was some crazy stuff. I'm not sure where my main window is. You guys are still able to watch, huh? Is this it? No? I'm not sure. We got that one. So I guess my show is still going on, right? It's not there. Is it this one? Oh, there it is. Whew. Wow, it's like, man, how are you guys watching me? I don't even see where my control panel is that has everything on the screen. So I guess if I went to that, there we go. All right, let's see what this one says. All the damning mistakes cops hunting for Nancy Guthrie appear to have made as final ransom deadline looms. This was just earlier today. Sheriff deputies investigating the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie have made a slew of worrying errors as the hunt for missing 84-year-old continues. Guthrie was last seen alive by her son-in-law as he dropped her off at her $1 million Tucson home at 9:45 p.m. Mountain Time. Wait, what did they say? 9:45. Yeah, it's actually 9:48, but, you know. Hey, thank you at Clad 157. Thank you. There we go. I guess on this screen, comments work, right? No, not on that one. I have to use this if I went... Hey, look at that. Come on, chat. Please smash that. We need everyone's DNA on that like button. We have over 600 here. So come on. Please smash it for Gray. That's right. That's right. And there's Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. And let's see if we can get some gifted channel memberships tonight. We're really struggled on the earlier day, and we're really slow again right out of the gate in the support for the channel. And if you're wondering, here's what I'd like to do, you guys. If we can get to $350 tonight on super chat combos and gifted memberships, etc., I'll donate $500, which I'd have to bring $750 in just to get back the $500. I'll donate $500 to RAIN, which is Violence Against Women, okay? And so that might be appropriate for this one, but we donate to RAIN all the time. So if you guys want to support the channel, we'll donate. If you get to $350, we'll donate $500 to RAIN, RAINN. You know, in, I don't know what we'll just say for Nancy Guthrie. All right. So let's not all get started at the same time. I know it's, you know. Thank Rock Girl Media for gifting a membership. All right, we're currently at $20.99. All right, so since then, officers have raised the next morning with efforts. Let's see, the alarm was raised the next morning with efforts to find Guthrie, the mother of today's star Savannah Guthrie, subsequently escalating with no success. Since then, officers have continuously swept the home, for clues as to what happened to Guthrie, mother of today anchor Savannah Guthrie. The latest demand has asked for Guthrie's family to hand over $6 million by 5 p.m. Mountain Time. That never happened. Let's see. So here it is. Sources have revealed to the Daily Mail that the investigation is being handled by a small team of just 6 detectives with little relevant experience. Did any of you guys hear what I just said about the challenge there? Seems like it just went in one ear, out the other. Deaf ears. While the FBI are now heavily involved in the case, details of Pima County Sheriff's Office's apparent incompetence will pile further misery on Savannah and her family. Hey, thanks, Susie. For further shocking details on how green the Guthrie investigation team is, click here. Sources close to the Pima County Sheriff's Department told the Daily Mail that Sheriff Nanos grounded a vital search and rescue aircraft in the hours after Guthrie's disappearance. I don't think that had would have helped a damn bit. Do you guys? She went missing at, let's see, the time would be 2:28 in the morning is when she was abducted. Law enforcement wasn't even called until 12. So that's an invalid criticism right there. It has absolutely no bearing on anything. You're talking about 9 hours later, okay, that they were even made aware. So the fact that, it says the Cessna named Survey 1 remained on the ground for much of Sunday, February 1st, because of staffing shortages. That's just, it wasn't going to help, Survey 1 is equipped with high-resolution thermal imaging. Right, but she didn't sneak out of her house, and they didn't just put her on the ground right there. Yeah. A helicopter was deployed instead, but lacked the sophistication, sensors, and thermal imaging technology aboard Survey 1. The chopper also was not scrambled until 5 p.m. Hey, welcome, Pam, and thanks, Susie Kraft. Until 5 p.m. on the Sunday that Guthrie disappeared. Investigators say getting up into the sky earlier could have yielded a clue about who had taken Guthrie. Well, how? How would it have given you anything that was 8 hours before? See, this is the kind of... This right here, just looking at this, is purely sensationalism writing to... Now, this part here I'll agree with. This up here about this helicopter and the airplane, the Cessna, completely bogus. Has nothing to do with anything. Hey, welcome, Coco Love. Very cool. Hey, thanks. Oogla Boogla Freak, too. When officers first responded to the home of Nancy, the initial response from... God, I can't even... It's weird. Let me go. Okay. From Pima County was that they were concerned for the elderly woman. Reporters who first arrived at the home in Tucson, upscale Catalina home neighborhood, discovered it wide open with no crime scene tape set up. Yeah, I don't know if it was, right when they first got there. It was like the next day, right? So that's not accurate. There was already reporters there, and it was being looked at, and then they opened it up. It wasn't until the day after she vanished last Monday that Sheriff Nanos reclassified the case as a crime and said it was believed that Nancy was kidnapped. The general area was blocked off, and on Tuesday they handed the keys back to Guthrie's family before returning to continue their search later that week. Sheriff attends basketball game. And what's the article up here? It says all the damning mistakes. Look at. I tell you what, everybody's pissed off at this guy from going to the basketball game. I don't think it's the greatest thing in the world to do, but I think it's phenomenal. This guy has nothing. He doesn't know what he's doing. I don't give a damn. I want him to be at the basketball game. In fact, I want him to take a trip to New Zealand and go fly fishing. and let the FBI and the people that know what the hell they're doing run the show. This guy was literally a bumbling fool right out of the gate. All right? And I don't think, I never say this normally, but that's exactly what this guy was, right? Let's be honest. Hey, thanks, Big Runner Training and PJ Rocker 862. Right. Everyone's like, what the hell's he doing at that game? I'm like, let the game go into overtime and have it just, have a conspiracy where you keep the game tied for 75 overtimes, and it just keeps on going. In fact, it goes so late that the referees say, let's take a break. We'll start this tomorrow, and then you have it another 75 overtimes over and over and over again, and he's still sitting there right now at that game. Because a hell of a lot more would get done, I can tell you that. I think some of the stuff he did early on was just absolutely this is what I'll say. He looks like a nice guy. Like he'd be a great grandfather, uncle, something like that. But, wow. Jesus, you got to be kidding me. I mean, he went on a talk show blitz. And he told everybody it's great for, the reporters and us getting information. But he was saying stuff that he shouldn't be saying at all. And he's backtracked on many of the things that he said. And he says, I never said that, but you did say it. It's right there. Right, it's right there on tape. We heard you say it. There's no doubt about it. All right, so let's see. Where does that part down here? There's the Cessna. Sheriff attends basketball game. The sheriff was spotted at the game on Sunday afternoon. The same time that Savannah and her siblings pleaded for their mother's return in a second video. Nanis looked on as the Arizona Wildcats defeated, oh wow, we really give a damn in this article, who won the game, Oklahoma State 47-84 inside the McHale Memorial Center. One senior source inside the department told the Daily Mail, it's tone deaf while Nancy's still out there. Yeah, see, that's the part that is dumb, that he was at a game. But the fact that he's not around should be just absolutely, make everybody enthralled. Just, woo! But he should have just went at home, maybe went to a movie or something, kind of quietly, hide somewhere. Something of that nature. I don't really care about the people on the ground. Thanks, though. Let's see. What do we got here? Yeah, everybody wants to talk about the boots on the ground one in this case. I don't know what you're going to get instead of, hey, guys, the cops are over at the house again. There's no investigation that you can do. It's cool. I'd love to be able to be there myself. It's just, it's a 22-hour drive. Thank you, Kukulaka. One senior source inside the department told the Daily Mail it's tone deaf. Everyone deserves, of course, their time off. It's been a very stressful, hard, long week. But given how hard detectives and search and rescue are working, including all the overtime they're doing, it's a poor decision, and it doesn't look good for the agency. Yeah, he shouldn't have been spotted while he was taking time off. Hey, thank you, Vicky White. Yeah, I don't think he's a bad person. I just think he's not very good. I mean, I don't think he, just listening to him talk about things, he doesn't seem like he has a grasp of it. But I just, he seems like somebody who, what's the difference when you say, is he really that bad or is he just inexperienced? What's the difference? It's the same thing. It's like, you have a guy that's playing in the NBA basketball, and he dribbles down the court with both hands, travels every time he touches the ball and falls over and can't catch a pass. He's clumsy, looks around, and then you go, is he really a bad player or is he just not played enough, huh? I don't think anybody's going to go, no, you know what? He's fantastic. He really is. I swear to God, if you just give him a few more weeks of playing, he's going to be incredible. I don't think so. He's stumbling down the court, tripping, falling over. Right. I don't know, Buster Bradamus. I don't know, Buster Bradamus. And you too, Renee. What is this guy supposed to do? He's the greatest sheriff on the planet. He should get a day off, too, and be able to go to a game. You guys are ridiculous, okay? Just watch what he was doing before that. I don't care that he went to a basketball game. I think it was stupid to take a day off and be so publicly viewed when there's somebody out there missing. It's dumb, okay? Now, if he was sitting at home watching the Super Bowl, something like that, I don't care. Nobody would care at all. Not a soul in here would see. What were you doing on that day we didn't see you? Nobody would say that. What's dumb is that he went to a game where people can see him and there's a missing person out there that he's in charge of, apparently, in his county. That's dumb. Okay? So you can sit there and go, what is he supposed to do? My God, have a brain. I think people come in here and they try to be like, what do you call it? Like intentionally divisive or like reverse of what you say just for the hell of it without thinking through it. We already went through it. Okay? Yeah, and then the trolls will come in and say they agree with somebody just because they want to be liked by the other sort of trollish people that show up in here. You know, like Cole there. Yeah, contrarian was the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's so obvious. It's like, you know, you could say, gosh, man, I wonder if this could be maybe a red herring portion for the kidnapping, and they'd go, oh, yeah, I don't know, man, I don't think so. And then the other people go, yeah, man, I agree. Even though they didn't really think through it rationally at all. Yeah. So, anyways, you can try to be contrarian. You can do what you want. Regardless of what you say, the truth is, it was stupid for him to go to a basketball game where he can be seen publicly having a good time while he should be focused in on trying to find Nancy Guthrie. Okay, that was dumb. However, I am more than happy to have him never show up again to any of the the meetings. I don't want him talking anymore at the press conferences. Any of that stuff. He can do whatever the hell he wants. I just don't want to see you doing those things. God, it's just so obvious. Hey, Richard Watts, the only man alive that is able to type in all caps here and get away with it. Yeah. They want to give him a participation. It's just so funny. You know, just like, you know what it is? It's called virtue signaling. That's exactly why people say stuff like that. They look at it and they go, oh, man, what's wrong with having a day off? I bet some of the other officers watched the game. Nobody said anything, you bastard. Right, okay. What's the hurry to defend something that's obviously dumb to do, you know? It's absolutely idiotic. All right, anyways, bungled press conferences. Oh, well, here we go again. Sheriff Nanos has taken to the podium to address the media on several occasions concerning the investigation. You barely the best, huh? All right. So just barely. There's somebody else right below me. Sheriff Nanos has taken to the podium to address the media on several occasions concerning the investigation. In those, he has apologized for delays, walked back statements made during television interviews, right, exactly, and acknowledged his limited experience operating under intense national scrutiny. Okay, there you go. See, that's exactly right. So he should be doing something else, is what I'm trying to say. Just kind of tuck him to the side and let somebody else. This is what I would do if I was them. I would ask the sheriff if he could transfer jurisdiction of the case to probably the Arizona State Police, and they work in conjunction with the FBI. He doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, I rarely say this for all the freaks watching here. I often defend in difficult situations when I see something that vindicates somebody, but this isn't one of those. I just, man, he is awful. No, they don't. You have to be asked in there. Like, so, for example, in this case, one of the good things that he did do was he asked the FBI to be there. He invited them to come in and basically take over the case. All right? So if that's the case, he really just shouldn't say much anymore and just kind of, be around, work and stuff. Go out to a quiet dinner somewhere, but sitting around and, like, woo, cheering at a basketball game, that is just dumb, Hey, thanks, Big Runner Training. What do you, hold on, where's how come it's not over here? Oh, wait, there's other... I don't know, like my chat seems like it's way behind or something. Alright, let me go to this other screen and put that one in there. There it was. What do you know about Nancy's normal behavior in the weeks before disappearance? What changed, if anything? I'm fairly new to the story, so sorry if this has been covered. I don't think a lot of people know anything about that. Like, did she visit them often? I think Annie, we don't know those kinds of things. Like, did Annie often... She hasn't done any interviews or anything, so we really don't know the answer, and Savannah's not talking about that kind of stuff either. They're focusing on finding her, but those are good questions for sure. That would be interesting. Some people have suggested that she had a boyfriend and he did something. I don't buy that at all. But yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any information about there as to what she was doing leading up. In November, Savannah actually went there and visited her mom and did a story on the Today Show, and it even mentioned that she still lives there. And so maybe that gave a criminal a heads up at some point. And if that's the case, then likely the goal would have been a ransom of some sort, because you know that the daughter is worth, like, a lot of money. Not entirely sure if she's alive or not. No. Annie acts like Terry Horman. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. What changed, if anything? Yeah, it would be great to know the answers to those questions. It's just not out there. Big Runner Training. And thank you, Glenn Bush. Thank you very much. And thank you, Brizak. Is he not allowed to go to games when other people are missing in his district, or just Savannah Guthrie's mom? I don't know, man. Here's what I would say is, when it's Savannah Guthrie's mom and the entire nation is watching and it's a huge profile case, it's absolutely idiotic to go to a basketball game and sit there cheering and enjoying, hey, the game, yay, 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 in public. Okay? Now, if another person's missing, it's not like that at all. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. It's like somebody else is missing, It doesn't have, it's not a high profile. It's not appearing. It doesn't make your entire department look bad, etc., etc., etc. So there is a huge difference there, although there shouldn't be. I will say that. You know, if somebody else is missing under the same circumstances, let's say Nancy was actually Nancy Johnson and the same exact thing happened to her, it'd be a big story. It just wouldn't be as big as it is now because the story itself is crazy. It's one of the weirdest cases that I've ever seen out of all the years. I've been doing this on YouTube for 9 years, live streaming and then videos before that. Oh my God, here we go. The sheriff had a life too. Maybe he just wanted to relax. Sure, why didn't you just go relax at home? Maybe watch it on TV. Your brain doesn't work well, so we're just going to have to move forward. If you want to sit there and defend going to a basketball game, you go right ahead. I think it was really dumb in this situation. I often defend people in similar, some other sorts of incidents like that I see differently. This one I don't. I think he's absolutely buffoonery to do that. He's made tons of mistakes. He just, like I said earlier, let him stay out for days doing stuff. Just don't be like, hey, I'm going golfing now, and etc. Remember how like Obama would go golfing every time we'd attack, like do some military action, he's out golfing, It was weird. Weird stuff. All right, what do we got here? Because this case has global attention, Sheriff Sherlock knows the scrutiny's happening. Sure. Sure, Sherlock. But Gray, I'm leaving. You brought up Obama. Yeah, I think it's shitty when any politician does that. I mean, I'm not sure what. I don't know if George Bush played golf. Seems like he did. I don't remember. This will be the bad actor. Oh, I'm sure. Sunshine on my shoulders. Thanks for being an idiot, though. So we're gonna have to get rid of you over here. Yeah, we don't talk about that stuff in here, Sunshine. I'll remove you from the channel if you ever bring that name up again. All right, let's see. The sheriff has shown he has poor judgment. And that was just so stupid. You must watch it, enjoy it every day to even think of it. Let's see. You have to have certain amount of situational awareness, right? That also shows like a lack of decorum and by the way, I hope they do that because it'll give me some more ammo. They've been in trouble over there. Yeah, see you later. Yeah, what a joke that you would bring that up. You should be ashamed of yourself. No need to say bye, just get the hell out. Let's see, one of the biggest mistakes was not securing Nancy Guthrie's house and surrounding properties immediately. I don't know if you can say a bandmate did it. Yeah. But I mean, in terms of theories, if it, I mean, I think it's very possible that the family member hired somebody or got somebody to do something that would kind of make sense if it was something like that, Maybe it's a friend of his that has never met Nancy before and they were going to do something. I'd have a hard time believing that like things went awry and they accidentally killed her. How do you accidentally kill an 84-year-old woman who can barely walk? Yeah, it's wouldn't you just sort of grab her and tie her up or something and continue doing what you're doing? Why would you need to like, club or whatever the hell they did in there? It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah. See, that person that came in here was just trying to advertise for the troll account. That's why they go, I'll let myself out. So they could have another incident to talk about. These people are just nuts. Let's see. He went to prison for impersonating the man. Let's see. Hear me out. But a certain person streaming, right? Exactly. You guys, there's a streamer out there that everybody watches. Streaming from her house, has a lot of big ones being there. He went to prison for impersonating the man who shot Gabby Gifford, who is a friend of the Guthries. Yeah, that person is nuts, and nobody knows it because they don't care or look it up. Let's see, you can accidentally cause her to drop dead with a heart attack. But yeah, except she was still alive and coughed on either the way out the door or as they were bringing her back in. We don't know the answer to that question.
You're looking live at Nancy Guthrie through an infrared drone operated by our Fox flight.
What? Hold on, what did you say?
You're looking live at Nancy Guthrie through
No, we're not looking live at Nancy Guthrie. We're looking live at the house.
an infrared drone operated by
It
our
must have made
Fox
people
flight
freak
team.
out. Look at that's her walking. Look at, he said it, man. That's her walking right
Retired
there.
NYPD Inspector Paul Morrow is also in Tucson.
This guy, Paul Morrow, he's
I mean,
probably,
this is
he's
pretty
like I said yesterday and the day
incredible
before,
footage
he's the
we're
best
looking at
that
right
there
here.
is
It looks
out
like
there
a team
on
of
this.
agents are
If I had everybody to pick from and to analyze this, it'd be him in the media.
coming in and out of the house, in and out of the
Yeah,
garage,
who cares?
Paul.
Brizak?
You talked about a camera that was discovered on the roof. Do you think that was part of the just regular surveillance, or was that wildlife?
You know, I wish I knew. I haven't even seen it.
Hey guys, we're trying, if you're coming in here late, right now we are at about $103 total. We need to get to $350, and then I'll donate $500 of income directly to RAIN, which is Violence Against Women, for this case here, okay? So if you guys can help support the channel with channel memberships, gifting memberships to people, super chats, etc. We need another 200 and I think 45. All right, let's see if we can do that.
An image of it yet because of where I'm positioned here.
Yeah, well, we donated lots of money here. We've donated $283,000 since January of 2020. That's part of what we do on this channel, and I'd like to keep it going here. So if you guys could please find a way to help support the channel tonight instead of just languishing with 0 super chats that fly by after a long period of time, it gets kind of disheartening. So let's see if we can do it.
Here at the sheriff's office, it would make sense to have a wildlife camera perhaps on the roof, but who knows? Maybe there's a skylight or something that people feared they could get in through in the past.
I think that's just the cameras on the roof just to film the patio back there. You know, I don't think it's any sort of mystery. You know, it's just the the camera that they had. I mean, to me, it just seems really obvious. It's just right there, facing down, and believe it or not, you can see the damn thing on Google Earth. That's actually the solar panel, that black area, and the camera is that little bit of white that sticks out right there, and it's just filming the backyard area. That's it. And then I guess there's another camera right here that would film any vehicle driving in, and then there's a camera in there by the front door that's filming out the front door. Now I don't know if there's another camera that's back here filming the pool. Maybe you wouldn't want to do that, you know, taking a swim or something. I don't know. I mean, I think the more cameras you have, the better. Thanks, Nikki. Appreciate it. Gray, it's being told to who? By a reliable source on Twitter that local officials refuse to cooperate or give feds any info on Nancy's case. It took several days to get them to cooperate for them to get it. Really? I mean, that's pretty weird. Maybe that's why there was like this big shift and they went back again. Are we going to start making, blaming and pretending that they're actually involved somehow? Is that the next step of this? All right, guys, you guys heard what I just said. If you can please help support the channel, if you have the ability to, we got to try to get to the goal tonight, and it's just 350, which means the channel only brings in about 275 or whatever, and I'm gonna send 500 in to RAIN, Violence Against Women. I noticed we barely moved at all night since I said that. Yes, we know Savannah's innocent. Yeah, absolutely, Savannah's 100% innocent. She would have zero motive of any kind to do anything. She's 100% innocent, Roy. Okay? All right. Thank you. I'll say that without having any information other than me just telling you that she's 100% innocent. Okay? Local slow to cooperate. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, we have 700 people watching. If everybody donated 50 cents, we'd be able to do it. Is there a reason why so many of you just don't feel like it? It's so weird, man. We've been doing this show for years, and we'll have 200 people watching, and we reach it. So what we're trying to do is get to 350, and I'll donate $500 to RAIN, and we'll add it to our total at the end of the show. It's not that difficult. All right, hey, thanks. Lisa's got a challenge here, everybody. She will, if we get 5 channel memberships gifted, she'll send $25 in coffee. All right, so that would be 50 total right there. That'd be a good start. So it's 2 for 1 on your end. Okay. I've never heard of you before. Yeah. Some people here really want Savannah to be... Why would she ever be guilty? I mean, that doesn't even make any sense. What angle do you even have? I guess we can count... well, that's an Australian 5, so that's $3. So what we need is... I guess we can take Eloquent Pirate and Nikki together. That would make 1, and then we have Jeff, 1. Oh, we already got the 5. Hey, look at that. Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. I notice it's always the old-time freaks helping out all the time. Thanks, guys. Very cool. Shout out to you. What? What does that mean? Yeah, at least we try to make a difference out there, right? How much do you think those live streamers that it looks like a slot machine on their chat, how much do you think they're donating? The answer is 0. All right, let's see. We try to make a difference here. And nobody's required to do that, but that's what we do. Thank you, Steve Hammondtree from earlier for rain. Yeah, Steve Hammondtree. All right. So let's see what this one is. Yeah, so this is that Today Show appearance. See, this is what they're talking about. Look. Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy Guthrie, made a rare appearance on the Today Show just weeks before she went missing from her home in Tucson. Nancy, 84, was last seen Saturday night. Okay, yeah, we know that. Before her disappearance, Nancy and daughter Annie joined the Today Show for a segment which saw Savannah, 54, return to her hometown. They actually sat in a restaurant, so it was Annie, Savannah, and Nancy. It says, in the clip, which aired in November, Savannah met with her mother and sister in one of her favorite Mexican restaurants. Hey, thank you, the homespun wife. Thank you. And thanks up there, Saturday Dreaming of Mercury, Jeff H, and Nikki, and Eloquent Pirate. Oh, there's Eloquent Pirate. There you go. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, Arizona's not safe. Yeah, that's for damn sure. How's it going? Ding 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 ding. Based on statistics. Yeah, I know who you are. It's Mercedes. Let's see, Mercedes. Yeah, right. Yeah, we were just talked on the phone, I don't know, a week ago or so, didn't we? Yeah, I mean, we were, you know, that trial, a Mercedes Vega, I mean, that's the nuttiest case. That's Erica right there. That's the crazy case where her, so Eloquent Pirate in the chat right now, her daughter was killed because she was about to be a witness in a case where she was robbed, and the person that she was going to testify against hired some other people to kill her, and went to her apartment, waited for her. She was going to her car, grabbed her, and then they took her out, and then somehow they ended up in another vehicle, probably transferred it from, or maybe it was even in the garage itself. But anyways, took her out, drove her down a highway. At some point, like hours later, down a highway, and they, I don't want to, it's just such a horrible way that she was killed, with bleach and fire and all kinds of shit in a car. And the media hardly even talked about the case. All right, so she came on here, we talked about it, and I mean, I didn't know, but she tells me that it made a big difference, that it got it out in the, the media did start covering it a little bit, and there's a trial coming up on part of, I think the actual theft or drug ring, I guess, angle, right? Is that right? That's what's coming up first, and then they're going to do the murder trial. So it's crazy. Hey, thanks to Heidi and let's see, who else? I'm just trying to do it by memory really quick. Heidi and Lisa on PayPal's, looks like. And then we had Lisa Valenzuela did her challenge. And then we also had a coffee from Internet Jury. There you go. Oh, March 31st. Okay, yeah. So you have to keep us updated on that one. We'll have you come on and you can give us updates. I don't think it's televised, that one, right? Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. See how look at these trolls in here, you guys. See, they're coming in full force here. I tell everybody what we do in here. On this show, I try to raise money for the channel. It helps support the channel. And then I try to raise funds to help the charities that we also donate to too. But without the support for the channel and being able to support my own channel, we wouldn't be able to do anything. So if these trolls, they think $283,000 to charities is a bad thing, that comes out of, last year I would say that the amount of super chats we brought in and the amount that we donated to charities was a very similar number. So I don't know. They do this to try to affect my channel, because there's people in there they read it and they go, ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But this is what they do. That's why the person earlier came in to mention a particular a place where people are always trashing me over and over and over and over and over and over again. All right. So anyways, thanks, Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. And moderators, you got to be a little bit quicker on some of these things, you know. That's that. You let them type like 7 or 8 times in there. And yeah, I saw that, Internet Jury. I just said thank you. You must be on delay. But yes, Eloquent Pirate, Erica. Let's make sure you come on. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. Let me ask you something. Like if I do a show and people are sending in, let's say each night $200 in super chats come in, and that's it, right? Well, YouTube takes 30%, so that would mean that the income is $140 for the whole day. And let's say I did a show every single day of the month, and that's 30 days, and that would be like $4,200, something like that. Is there any way that I would be able to donate $4,000 in a month? And the answer is no. Last month we donated $3,000. So what we do is I try to make videos that have ad revenue. I do live streams every single day, and we try to bring in more than that so that I can actually donate money and have a decent income for the channel. Okay? And so what's weird is that people actually sit there and they try to sell a different story, and I don't really know what what to tell you. I do my best. I think I cover true crime and logically think through it better than everybody else out there. And yet I get these trolls. They don't like me because of something from the past. They're psycho, absolute nut jobs. It's unbelievable. Yeah, there's a lot of trolls. They actually have they sit together in a group and they tell everybody to go over and start doing this. This is what they do. They have no lives. They're disgusting people. It is a crazy number. That's why when people send coffees, it's a better deal, etc. So here we go again. Here we go again. The trolls are back. Where are the moderators? You got to get rid of them right away. There you go. They're just on fire in here tonight. A license from going 95 and a 35. Yeah. No, when I was in Idaho, I went, let's see, I think I went something like 35 or 30 and a 20 or something like that, and I got a ticket. Yeah. Yeah, but see, notice how they came in and it just sort of derailed what we were talking about, etc. Like we had 729 people, now there's 663 because they're like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this. And then all of a sudden, see, this is what they do. And when the moderator, you guys have to really nail these things right when they start, because when they don't, I see them, and then I have to take my time and go through it and explain and do all this shit because they weren't removed. All right? All right, so where are we at right now? We are at, we're about halfway, all right, you guys? So let's see if we can, if you guys can give some channel memberships, etc., that would be awesome. If not, whatever. I'm just like, I don't know what to say right now. I'm frustrated. All right, the broadcaster then turned her attention to, this is on the show that they did back in November. I come here every time I come home to Tucson, Savannah continued as she took a seat. The broadcaster then turned her attention to her mother and asked her why she decided to settle down in Tucson. Now she asked what made her want to stay in Tucson and put down roots. It's so wonderful, her mom replied. Just the air, the quality of life is laid back and gentle. I like to watch the javelina eat my plants. Not sure what's a javelina. Never seen it. I don't even know what that is. Let's see. Oh, like a boar kind of thing. Yeah. Savannah, who lost her father to a heart attack when she was just a teenager, had often spoken about her family over the years. In 2023, she gushed about her mom's faith that she would one day have children of her own. Thanks, Glenn. Let's see. And then it says, when I was in my 30s, I really wished to be married and to be a mom and things. Just did not happen that fast for me, she said on the Today Show. And my mom's confidence that I would be a mom, even as the years ticked by and ticked by and ticked by, meant so much to me. So this is just November. Isn't that amazing, the difference here? Like, that's Annie, that's Savannah, and that's Nancy right there. Like, it's weird to see the total difference in what they look like now. And that's Annie right here, Savannah, and Nancy. And so, you know, I've been saying that I think it's possible that even if Nancy's or Annie's husband is involved, that she like she might not have any idea that he did what he did. I think that's a possibility here. She said, of course you'll be a mom, and you're going to be a wonderful mom, and for her to have that confidence and faith was so meaningful to me. It got me through some really hard times. Savannah is mom of 2 children, daughter Vale and son Charlie, whom she shares. I mean, it's probably a dumb time to start putting out the names of Savannah's kids, given what's going on here, who shares with her husband. In a podcast appearance in 2023, she opened up about losing her dad and how grief is a lifelong process. Speaking to Brooks Nader, she said, I think it changes everything. I always think of it, and as on our calendars, we have BC and AD. There's before and after. It's just this stark dividing line. There's before my dad died, and then there's after. And it's profound. Grief is a lifelong process. I mean, yeah, that's totally true. You know, I really believe that. There's acute grief. Yeah, it takes a long time, man. It's crazy. There's different moments of grief, but I remember thinking even when... I think it's easier for a child to lose a parent that they've already been sick for a long time. It's when it's unexpected, completely unexpected. It makes grieving so much harder, I think. You know, like it's just sort of out of the blue. But if it's sort of the slower process over time, they've been sick and your mind's sort of able to get used to it. The fact that it's coming, you know, I think you can deal with it a lot easier than if it's just a sudden shock. And I think that's why when parents lose children, it's so much more devastating than when a parent loses a child loses a parent. You know, because that should never happen. Parents should always die before the children, and it's just kind of the way it is. Yeah, sorry about that, Molly. Hey, welcome, Internet Jury. Thanks, Cheryl Bullock. The rumors as a fact that Tomasa has a gambling... I've never even heard that. I don't know where you guys come up with all this stuff. It's just, it's weird. You must be watching some crazy stuff out there. So classic. You know, when we were doing the Koberger case... We'll be covering the case using facts, logic, reason, common sense, and then all of a sudden somebody jumps in with some crazy comment, and you always just wonder, where did that originate from? Where did that come from? You know what? And they almost never turn out to be true. I mean, it could be true in this one. You know, he could have a gambling problem. Don't know. let's wait and see. Let's wait until one of the officials comes up with it. Maybe in a probable cause document. Right. Look it up, and if it's not in an article, then don't ever send it to me, okay? If it's from some YouTuber, forget it. Right, it's been reported by others from one person who said it, and then reported by 15 of the other ones, and everybody thinks it's a fact after somebody else said it. You guys know how this works, right? I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just telling you why I don't just immediately believe. When people say something in the chat, I don't take it as any sort of fact at all until you send me proof in a respectable document, like a newspaper article or something. Okay, if it's in an article, send it to me. Let's see it. I bet it wasn't NBC, ABC, New York Times, or New York Post, something that actually has been around, Not that they always put out accurate stuff either, but I'm just saying. Thank you, Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. What was up with Savannah lifting that Silence of the Lambs quote? Strange. Was it Savannah who said it? I thought it was the sister that said it. And what's the quote again? All right, let's see. Silence of the Lambs quote by Savannah. Nancy is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see. Savannah said in a quivering voice. A nearly verbatim message was used in Jonathan Demme Oscar-winning 1991 film in a scene where a senator is coached by the FBI to speak to the captor of her daughter. Wow, that's even weirder. The weird part is that part. Not that she, what's with the lifting of a quote? Let's see. Savannah Guthrie eerily uttered the exact same words used in a hostage negotiation scene from the iconic horror film Silence of the Lambs in the gut-wrenching video she posted earlier this week, pleading for her mother to safe return. The Today Show star, her sister Annie, and her brother Cameron issued a tearful video. Nancy, it probably didn't, maybe she did say this, but it's, Nancy is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see, Savannah said in a quivering voice. A nearly verbatim message was used in Jonathan Demme's Oscar-winning 1991 film in a scene where a senator is coached by a FBI agent to speak to the captor of her daughter in a live televised address. The goal was to get the monstrous kidnapper to see his victim as a human being. So that's why she would say that. I don't think it's that weird. It actually seems more normal-ish now. I mean, maybe you could have thought of a different line, but Catherine, let's see what the actual sentence was. Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see. So the only part that's similar is talk to her and you'll see, which seems like, how else would you say it? Like you say, she's full of kindness and knowledge. Just talk to her. Get to know her. You'll see. Doesn't seem that strange. Hey, you guys. Somebody just typed in, please raise $350 for a fake donation. Okay. Why don't we see? I'll prove it on the screen. We're still way short, though. I don't know why we struggle so much on some of these shows, but what we're looking for, we're trying to get to 350. We are at 220. We're making our way there. But if you guys have the ability to help support the channel and, see if we can get up to, we need like another 20 gifted memberships and another, I don't know. Well, it really comes down to if we had 26 more gifted memberships as a group, we would get to the number. All right, see if we can do that. Yeah, I don't know if it's a pure coincidence. I don't look at it as a coincidence. That's too coincidental. I mean, they're literally almost like up here it says, she's full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see. Catherine is very gentle and kind. So a statement about how good the person is. Talk to her and you'll see. There's no way that that's just random, especially given the fact that it's almost the exact same situation. A very famous person has somebody in their family abducted, and this is what they're doing. Yeah, that's not something that's not random. Hey, thanks so much there to Shoshana Grace. Very cool. Hey, thank you. Very kind, very kind. And thanks for you guys for not listening to the trolls. You'll see later. I'll send the money in. You'll see the email come in. You'll see it on the screen. You'll see everything. It's right there. We do it every single time. I challenge any of the trolls out there to verify whether or not I've sent all the thousands of dollars over the years to the various places. Okay? And I know that we've given RAIN, which is Violence Against Women, over $30,000. We've given Texas EquiSearch over $30,000, and we've given the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children over $30,000, and we've given a DNA fund over 110 now, I think. And it goes on and on and on. It's just reality. It's true. It's a true thing. They never tell you that, these trolls, though, because they would never do it themselves. Therefore, nobody else could ever have done it. Hey, wow, look at that. It's Eloquent Pirate again. Hey, did you go to any of the golf tournament? I was on TV and I thought, hey, I wonder if Erica went to that. Because you went one year, I thought. Yeah, of course they create the accounts to be trolls, you know. They can't stand... these people just don't like me. Right? That's just it. The movie centered around a brilliant flesh-eating killer named Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, it was filmed in part at the FBI Academy in Quantico. The attempt to humanize Nancy Guthrie or any person being ransomed is standard procedure. A plea to the kidnapper to make them feel empathy is usually powerful. The victim is a commodity, not a person to the captors. The security expert said it's a very standard negotiation playbook. Hey, I think we only need 19 more now, you guys. 19 more channel memberships. Oh, and we got a coffee from Marty. Hey, is it showing up in that top area anymore? I think I need to fix that again. It was showing up there for a while. I don't know. I'll check it out after the show. Yeah. Anyways, there you go. So we got that, and then I don't know. What do you guys? I'd like to just sort of look at this again, and let's just pretend that Annie and her husband, they haven't gone over and looked at the house, and that what law enforcement's saying right now is true, that they have no suspects and they're still just absolutely lost in the case, basically. All right, we can pretend that. So if that's the case, then what do we have here? Let's say that these people have nothing to do with it. Do you guys still think that the person knew her? I think then we can go back to what we were originally thinking. You know, all the different workers that work there that know her. I think it would actually open the door back up to a sexual assault, which seems odd, but yet It's happened. We've covered, I don't know, at least half a dozen cases very similar like that over the years. Cold cases. So it could open the door to that. It seems like at least a person would have had to have been casing the house out for a while, for sure, right? All right. But hey, don't stop, you guys. Let's see if we can get to the 19 more. Yeah, that she lived alone. That's what Coco's saying in there. They must have known that. And, you know, wow, it's weird, too, because if you look at when Savannah was on the Today Show with her mom, that could have been a clue, like, hey, man, a really rich person's mom was there, alone. Or it was just the fact that there's this older lady that lives alone that might have some stuff going on, you know, money, things worth something at the house, and that could kind of explain that it's a robbery, you know, the 41 minutes too, you know, that it's a robbery that went awry and she died, and then the entire portion regarding the ransom is just a red herring that they came up with. Although the Bitcoin wallet was a real thing that somebody created. So maybe they thought, well, if we can get some extra money this way, great. But we're not going to be able to show proof of life because she wasn't alive anymore. And then why would you kill her, though? You know, like you're in. What would you if she didn't know you? Why would you have to kill her? Anybody? I mean, if she was assaulted, you want to take her body so that there is no DNA for them to trace. Yeah, well, the trolls kind of try to come in and like screw things up. But we're still short, you guys. We need to keep on trucking. We are on the show here. Let's see. 125 plus 1, let's see, 266. So that's where the 19 come in. Robbery gone wrong. So a robbery gone wrong. So what are the things that make it seem like it's not a robbery gone wrong? So we're just trying to do an exercise here without including, you know, the possibility that, you know, a family member is associated with this. And I guess it still could be a family member associated with. They're just the one that directed them and made it possible for them to do a robbery, and then it ends up where she dies in there, and then, you know, he was supposed to, you know, get a cut of whatever they stole, but something bad happened and she died, and it turned it into a totally different story at this point. So then they make up the ruse that it was for ransom to give them some time. That sort of has a logical feel to it, doesn't it? Well, we don't know if any items were taken or not. Yeah. Law enforcement's never said no items were taken that I remember. Whoa, is that Mag? Holy crap, look at that. Hey, Mag from the old days. It's good to see you. That's amazing. Everybody say hello to Mag, man. That's like a blast from the past. Let's see. Maybe, like you said, they accidentally revealed who they were. Right. Yep, exactly. It seems like there's really no reason to kill her. But I don't feel like she's alive right now. I wish I did, you know. But I think that last message before the one they just gave out absolutely shows that I think it proves that she's not alive. Like, that was written in a way, I mean, I can do it again here in a minute, just absolutely, to me, there's no other answer for that. Hey, we got Saturn Dreaming of Mercury said, you don't want her to pass before failing to get her away from her watch and iPad. That still resonates with me, but implicates someone close. You don't want her to pass before failing to get her... Right. That's true, right? Like, the last connections to the watch didn't indicate that she was dead. So she likely wasn't killed inside that house. That's a good point there. I like that. What the heck? Hey, whoa! Mag just gifted 20 memberships. Holy crap. I didn't even see that on my other screen. That's amazing. Thank you. I'll even cover up my face for that one. There we go. Put it in there. Alright, you guys. Here we go. I'm going to do it right now. Rain. There it is. Rain homepage. Yeah, thanks everybody. You guys are amazing. So there it is. Let's do 500. I don't like doing it makes these random numbers when you pay the transaction fee. Alright, I gotta fill stuff out over here though. So don't worry, you guys. Okay, one time, got that. So it says, as we face the growing need for our services in the new year, your partnership is crucial. Alright. Gotta put my numbers in here. Phone number. And I don't know. No, I don't think anybody's matching. Alright. Contribute 500. Let's see. I'm gonna put Nancy. For women like Nancy Guthrie. Thank you for your donation. You will receive a confirmation. What? Oh, wait, never mind. They already did it. There was no for or anything. Solicit donor survey. I don't really want to do these. Right now in America, someone... Yeah. Oh, man. Man, they have a survey at the end here. It's just taking up all my time. Alright. So I think it said thank you on there. I'm going to have to go get my email here. Alright, there it is. Alright, so I'll put it down at the bottom of the screen. See at the bottom of the screen down here? You can see that. And then I click on it. And now I can open it. And there it is. You paid $500 to Rain. And right there, February 9th, 2025. You know, feel free to call over there if you want. There it is, though. Okay. And let's see if they sent us... they usually send something a little bit later, so I'll show you that. Alright, but I have to show you just the email at the bottom because the trolls have actually, when I've shown my email on the screen, they've contacted people that just show up in my email. I mean, these people are disgusting wackos, you know. Hey Mag, how have you been doing? They get her back. The not knowing. Yeah, the not knowing. See, that's why I thought the yesterday's, that's what it meant. I don't know if you watch, but anyways, thank you guys for making that happen. That was really cool. So there you go. So let's we got to adjust our numbers now. We're going to go over to let's see. I think it's this one maybe. Yeah, right there, and we'll add, so the all-time, let's see, make that one 283,612. There we go. And then this year, which is right down here at the bottom, we'll make that one 3,000. Oops. 3,500. All right. Well, there we go. Got everything dialed in. Yeah, not too bad. Just kind of, yeah. I don't know. I just went on a golf trip, and it was starting to rain a lot at the end of it. But hey, it was fun. All right, let's go back to this one. Yeah, I think I like the what do you call it? And that's how we do it every single time. Do you see how I proved to you guys on the screen and everything? And we've done this all these years, and that's what it's built up to over the years. But the trolls don't care. You know, they just don't give a damn. Oh yeah, rally car racer. Yeah, awesome. What was it that we were just looking at? Oh yeah, it was something about the. Oh, we were just going over the. Wait, why does it say 673? Oh yeah, those are people on. Hey, somebody on Twitter, type something in. I want to see it show up in here. So I guess there's almost 100 watch or 70 watching on Twitter. Yeah, so it could be that something, a robbery gone wrong, but it's I think the part that makes it seem like that a little bit is the 41 minutes at the house, right? So there's like 41 minutes in the house. What are you doing in there for 41 minutes? It would explain if you're literally walking around trying to find things like, where is it? Where do you keep this? What are you doing? And you're just looking for it. And maybe they even hit her to get her to say something, and then she ends up dying. And then they create this whole elaborate hoax of a ransom to make it look like it's something completely different than what they did there. Because they took her, and maybe they killed her in there, and the way that they killed her, they were nervous that their DNA was left on her body. Whether they, you know, I don't know why, but maybe she did something to them, and they thought, "Ooh, man, maybe our DNA is on her," so they took her body out. But apparently she was still alive, right? So that part's not, you know, that's interesting. So her heart monitor was still communicating with her phone, and she wasn't dead or anything. It just stopped communicating with the phone at 2:28. So you see how that makes it sort of interesting now, because that means she's alive as she's being taken away from the home, right? I think it's sort of like, oh, well, how do we know, Gray? Maybe she died in that 1 second where she was still alive and then it disconnected. So that means at 2:28 she was still alive, and her pacemaker, which is buried inside of her body, was not close enough to her phone to communicate. So that means she likely was removed from the house right around that time and was on the move. And she's probably still alive at that point. So why did they take her? Okay. Why are you sending me messages? Oh, on Twitter. Let's see. Did you send it in the chat here? I don't see it. And thanks, Marty, in there for those coffees, and Lisa for your bucket. I guess there's a half bucket and a bucket. Thank you, guys, and all the other people on PayPal, etc. Okay, but she fell, and then what happened? I think she fell. She was probably groggy from getting out of bed and being forced to walk to the vehicle and fell. Nah, no way. Yeah. I mean, the odds of that are so low that she's walking, and then she just fell. And she hit the ground perfectly where her nose is dripping, and then she coughs up blood. I know, it would be great to see the inside of that house, but you just don't get to see it. Yeah, she's probably scared. And so what we're doing and here's the thing, everything that we're talking about right now, you could add a family member in as being the person who got them to go do what they did. But you would think a family member doing it, I don't know, it's weird. It would almost involve that they wanted her to be killed, too. Because I guess, why wouldn't you just, while she's at church, you know where all the cameras are, why not just break in and steal stuff? If you're like Annie's family, like why wouldn't you just go do that? It'd be so simple for you. You probably have a key. You could make it look like, Jimmy the outside, make it look like somebody broke in. I guess maybe it's hard to get away from your own home at a certain time without somebody wondering what you were doing. Yeah, I did. Didn't show up on Zillow. Nancy Guthrie would have been on blood thinners. Yeah. So would it just kept bleeding is what would have happened. I just don't think she just happened to be walking and then fell and then started bleeding. It just seems... It seems more likely that something happened to her. And everyone has a trail cam in their backyard. Yeah, well, problem out here is it's really... this is what we talked about on the first day. We went down to Street View here, and I mean, look, that's the house right there. And the only camera, the camera that's in the door is over there, and it would only film right over here, these bushes, so it wouldn't even show you the car driving by. And then every other house is so, even from the air, there's a lot of homes around. It's not isolated or anything, but each house has a feeling of isolation, where, you got a bunch of trees and brush around, and you don't really see your neighbor easily. And it gets really dark at night. There's no street lights at all. They planned it that way. It's part of their community. That's what they wanted. Almost nothing. Yeah, I mean, if I was law enforcement, and I'm sure they did something similar to this, but what you do is you find the main roads all around, all the way around right here. See these main roads that go around, and even this one's a bigger road, see that? 2-lane. So I would take all of that and then find every single camera that filmed the road going all the way around, all the way down like this. Anyone that may have filmed the road, those main roads. This one isn't one, but let's just assume they, didn't go all the way down here. You could even add this in, but you would start with this. And then, now that at 2:28, she just was removed from the home at that point. So I would go from 2:15. I mean, I would actually just go from like 2:20 to 3 o'clock in the morning, and then find any car that showed up on camera in these areas here. Yeah, on this one or all the way over here. I mean, I would extend it to this road right here. And then you'd say, like, I wouldn't have it go here. I'd move this to there. And then you could do it where you see a car coming, track it on a few different cameras, and then you try to go backwards from it. And if you can't see it on one of these cameras, then it likely came in from this way. Then you start moving over here and you see, is there a car that matches the timing of that? And then you see if you can see the lights through the bushes on different cameras, and try to put the case together on multiple cameras, just given the fact that at that time of night in that neighborhood there aren't a lot of people driving around at 2:30 in the morning, because it's sort of I don't know, I think it feels like it's kind of a retirement type place with a little elderly people enjoying. It might not be, but that's what it feels like. And it just seems like there aren't going to be a lot of cars driving around between 2:28 and 3 in the morning. And I think that's how you could narrow down where it went. Maybe that's why they were so interested in the Circle K camera, because that Circle K camera, when they called in and said, hey, we got some video you might find interesting, and maybe it turns out that either Nancy's car or one of the people that live at Annie's house drove a car similar to that at a time that was unexpected, let's say. A car that was driving around at maybe, let's say 2:30 something. And then maybe that's why they're looking around in the yards. I mean, don't you find it interesting that they're doing so much searching around some of these areas, walking around on the edges, looking around? I mean, I guess you have to do that just to make sure, but it's pretty interesting. Did she have a home part-time? I think she did have some sort of help that would come around. She does have a pool, so somebody would have to come out. Well, that's not her house, but over here, there's a pool there and a little yard. I think they had people come around doing maintenance and things like that. So that would be a good person to look into. Yeah, isn't that cool? Seeing Mag in here, everybody. Yeah, I wish we'd see you more, but I know everybody gets busy out there. But don't you think the police asked him if he would take a lie detector test? I think they did take those, didn't they? Do we know anything more about the trespassing report days prior to the crime? Apparently close to her house. People say it was a safe area. So what was that incident all about? There's people that talk about this trespassing thing, and they use a bogus video to represent it. So it makes me kind of leery about what the reality is. Ding, 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 ding. And thank you, Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. Alright, so let's do maybe we can do a poll. Which? Alright, so we go. Alright, let's see. Wrong. see. Ah. I'm trying to get this in here. All right. There we go. Sorry for any spelling errors. Thank you, Gloria Batari. Yeah. I think these are really about the only options here, right? Hey, thanks so much there, Charlotte Denny. Very kind, very kind. If you got here late, we gave $500 to RAIN, which is for violence against women. And we've given them over 30,000 over the years. Yeah, murder for hire with red herring. And the red herring, there wasn't enough space. They don't let you keep typing. So murder for hire with red herring ransom is what that is. That's the one I lean towards, actually. That one. The one thing that's a little... let's ask this question. You guys type it in. What do you think the 41 minutes was used for? In any of these scenarios here. So the robbery gone wrong, the 41 minutes makes sense. The abduction for ransom gone wrong doesn't make a lot of sense, nor does it make sense in the murder for hire red herring. I don't know. It's Gray, I just sent you Fox article which answers the church question. Okay. I thought we already answered that earlier today. Yeah, I don't see anything. Yeah, I don't have anything from you. Yeah, the robbery gone wrong actually answers the... gives you some reason why they were in the house for 41 minutes. But here's the thing. Have they ever... We don't know if anything was taken from the house. So if nothing was taken from the house, we'll answer this one, you guys. Yeah, cleaning the scene, maybe. Yeah. So let's say there's 41 minutes, but nothing's missing. What was going on in those 41 minutes? Yeah, she's not going to fight that long. Yeah, you didn't... I don't have anything from you, Lisa. You have to send it again. Yeah, it's not here. Not sure what to tell you. Is it a new article? Okay, here we go. It's the headline when you type Fox News in. All right, let's see. Here we go. Nancy got... So this is one of the things we talked about.
Let's bring in Michael Alcazar,
the other day.
Retired NYPD.
We talked about the other day that if... I haven't read it yet, so I don't know. But we talked about the other day that if Nancy doesn't go to church and nobody at church reported her missing, and the family, perhaps even Annie's husband, said, oh yeah, we got a call from the church, so we went over there. If there wasn't a call from the church, then that's why they were immediately suspicious, because why would you lie about something like that? Do you believe it was risky making a statement pleading for the public to help catch the kidnapper? Well, I think they hadn't heard from them yet, so they said that. It might have been risky, but oh well. A source close to the Guthrie family is pushing back on reports about Nancy Guthrie was discovered missing on Sunday, February 1st, saying key details of the timeline have been reported incorrectly. Early reporting indicated that Nancy Guthrie had been scheduled to attend an in-person church service in Tucson that morning and was reported missing after she failed to show up. According to the family source, that account is not accurate. The source told Fox News that for years, dating back to the COVID pandemic, So this is what we learned recently. Nancy and a small group of close friends, and I had a standing Sunday. Your email just came in as I'm reading. Had a standing Sunday routine that did not involve attending church in person. Instead, the group would, this makes sense, would gather at one another's homes to watch a New York-based church service via live stream. So not even just a completely different church and everything. The service was broadcast live from a New York church attended by Savannah Guthrie. Oh, interesting. The longtime Today Show co-anchor and Nancy Guthrie's daughter. On Sunday, February 1st, Nancy was expected to be at a friend's home, so this makes sense, to watch the live stream, and as she had done every week. This is gonna validate the family with what they said. When she failed to arrive, members of the friend group became concerned. According to the source, one of the friends contacted Annie, Nancy's daughter, and Savannah Guthrie's sister to report that Nancy had not shown up and could not be located. The source emphasized that Nancy was never scheduled to attend a Tucson church service that day, contrary to some reports, and said the misunderstanding has led to confusion about the circumstances surrounding when she was first reported missing. See, and I said that it would be absolutely idiotic for the Annie or the husband to say that they were contacted when they weren't contacted. Okay? That would just be, your cover would be blown almost immediately. Right, so this validates that statement that you'd have to be a complete idiot to invent something like that. Well, I'm not sure if you're in here, Marty, but hey, we got a moderator in here. A couple of new mods. Mag, if you met him, Marty. As in Marty's Bar and Grill. And I'm not sure they're there, but Lisa Belson and Chris O'Connell. Let's see. If whoever did this had been watching the house or knows them, then maybe they know no one would be alarmed or notified, so they could take their time at the house. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. As the search intensified, Savannah Guthrie made an emotional public plea for help. Savannah urged everyone with information to come forward. The final deadline outlined in the alleged ransom note passed Monday night without any proof of life. The investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance remains active and ongoing. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Criminal investigation details of their process are not being released. All right. So it sounds like it makes total sense, right? All the way back from the COVID times, Nancy would watch her daughter's church in New York via live stream with a bunch of friends, and they would rotate houses they would go to. And on this one, Nancy didn't show up as they always did, like clockwork. She didn't show up, and that was so alarming that the person who one of the people that at the house she was supposed to go to called Annie and said, hey, your mom didn't show up. And then they went out to the house, and that's when everything came down. Doesn't that make sense? So if whoever did this had been watching, yeah, that's interesting. House or knows them, then maybe they know no one would be alarmed or notified, so they could take their time at the house. Yeah, but in that case, though, which one do you think it would be? The robbery, murder for hire, or the robbery gone wrong? Abduction for ransom, robbery gone wrong, or murder for hire? Alright. They didn't take anything but her. So I'm not sure. There's people out there that say, I mean, who's telling us that nothing was taken from the house? Hey, by the way, hey Mag, do you like the screen with the wood? You know, the wood on the screen there? Do you have theories to the murder for hire? Well, the murder for hire would then include the family member that people are talking about that got somebody else to do it and wanted her out of the picture for inheritance reasons. And, you know, obviously then the person who did it would have to place her body somewhere where she'd be found so that the ball could get rolling on that. And then they came up with, you know, the media start talking about, man, is there a ransom? Because she's rich. And maybe they use that as a red herring and even thought, man, maybe we can get some more money out of this. But then I've really thought through it and kind of looked into how can we be traced, etc., and just sort of gave up on that portion. Something like that. Does law enforcement typically report if someone was stolen or not? They specifically stated her phone and Apple Watch were left behind. Yeah. Hey, cool, thanks. Does law enforcement report if someone was stolen or not? Yeah, well, her Apple Watch, her Apple phone and her watch were left there. That's why as soon as she got, they said 10 feet is like the amount of space that where it stops connecting. That's why you would wear a watch, because your watch has a much larger range in the home. So the watch could then be the transmitter to your phone that then sends it out. So when she's all around the house, I think that's probably what they tell all people with pacemakers, is to have a watch and a phone, because you might walk away from your phone for over 10 feet or whatever, but you're definitely, you know, if you have your watch on, that'll always be able to connect to your phone. And I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility. I don't know if that's actually, I haven't looked into if that's 100% how it works, but that's what it sounds like on the different people that I've heard talking about it on shows out there. What do you mean? When does murder for hire happen in Arizona? What does that mean? I don't even know what your question means. Murder for hire happens all the time. It's just like a common crime. Yeah. I think, I assume nothing else was taken when they told us the phone and watch were left at the home. Yeah, isn't that weird? Like, I don't know what the actual answer is. What is the answer? You know? What is it? How long by foot from Annie's house? Oh, by foot? Man, I bet you that would be close to an hour and a half, probably. Maybe come back and anti-geofencing requiring a double back. Maybe we're not even looking for a vehicle, but a walker. But where would she be, though? So here's the problem. You know, if somebody goes to the house and they're walking around, where is Nancy at this point? Where would she be? She'd have to be kind of close by. You know, Nancy, they say she weighs like 150, whatever. You know, like, I don't know if you're... How do you move her around if you're not using a vehicle? You know what I mean? It's almost 3 miles, and you know, it might be a little bit quicker walking though, because, well, driving it's like 5 because you have to go way up here and around, or 4.5. But walking, you could probably, I don't know, you'd have to cut through people's yards. It's still a long walk. There's no way people would do that. Have they checked that the ransom is fake? That's what the last video felt like. Well, I'm going to do this again. Alright, I'm going to go through these last two. They're the only ones that really matter at this point. This one right here, I'm going to tell you exactly what it says. Again. I've done this like 20 times, but there's always new people, so here we go.
We received your message, and we understand.
We received your message. We understand why you can't send us proof of life. She's not alive anymore.
We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her.
So we beg you now to return our mother's body to us so that we can celebrate her life with her body here. We don't want to celebrate her life without her because we'll never have peace.
This is the only way we will have peace.
See? That's the only way we'll have peace.
This is very valuable to us.
And that's very valuable to us, being able to have her body back and feel at least that peace.
And we will pay.
And it's so valuable to us to have her body back that we will even pay for it. That's what I think that means. So whatever came in that message was that grave that they literally said, I mean, the person didn't give them proof of life. They understand that she's likely not alive, that we will actually pay you to tell us where we can find her body so that we can celebrate her life and lay her to rest and celebrate her life at that time, and we'll at least have the comfort and peace of knowing where she is. If we don't have her body, we'll live the rest of our life not in peace, never knowing where she was. Okay, you see how that just kind of makes sense? All right. This one is different, though. This one today. So you got that one, and then...
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayer.
So this video here seems to be talking to... They're not talking to the kidnappers anymore. They're just talking to people, really.
And the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we...
Yeah, I'm not... Listen, me and Zozo were looking into Savannah's sister and, the other family, her husband, on the first day. All right, so there's almost nothing. All of his information was scrubbed off of Ben Verified, so I wasn't able to look up anything, and it's just just interesting. So when we heard Ashley Banfield had information like that, it didn't even wasn't weird or anything. It was just like, oh, okay, yep. All right. Anyways, let's keep going on this.
We believe that.
And I don't know if that's even, it's possible they have nothing to do with anything. Okay? It's possible they have nothing to do with it. It's just something, when you have somebody driving her home, here's what I want to know is what made law enforcement interested and why were they over there taking photographs? What was it? So one of the things that I think is possible is, how at 9:48 the garage door opens and at 9:50 the garage door shuts? What if right after that is when they have indications on another camera or some kind of movement or something that they're not letting us know about, that is when the floodlight was broken? And what if the floodlight, they can determine, was broken somehow? Maybe there's some digital record. They can tell that the floodlight was broken at 9:51. They're not telling us that because that would obviously implicate immediately. But wouldn't it be interesting if the floodlight was broken at 9:51, clearing the way for something later? All right, so just a thought, something that popped into my head the other day, and might not be true, might be though, but that would be absolutely something that you would go, oh, so we know that so-and-so dropped her off, and then 1 minute after the garage door shuts, the floodlights were broken. So that's got to be the same person, right? You know, so that would make them interested. You know, something of that nature.
Somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers, and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where.
Mm-hmm.
And we need your help.
And notice how she says she's still out there. Well, of course, you know. And the sheriff said that one time. When you say she's still out there, that's not saying... How come they never say, we believe she's still alive out there? Not, she's still out there.
So I'm coming
Still out there doesn't mean somebody's alive, right?
on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but...
Here, let's just go back over here and play the...
I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers, and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help.
Mm-hmm. And that sort of matches with the previous day. She was taken and we don't know where. And then yesterday, on the other one, she said, we're willing to pay for knowing where she is. Even though we don't think she's alive because of what you've told us and you're not proving that she's alive. Right? Isn't that weird? So it's still the same kind of information right there.
So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of that? I mean, she seems to be, you know, thanking people. It's really just for all the people that have been trying to, you know, keep the word out, figure out what's going on. She still doesn't know where she is. But it seems like they were willing to pay for where she might be yesterday. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if today they just realized they hadn't heard from them and they're not even sure what, you know. Here's the thing, you guys. I think here's what they know. Law enforcement, I believe, is certain that the person who sent them the 2 messages recently were the people who perpetrated, or at least knows, or you know, is part of what happened to Nancy. I think that's absolutely 100%. And that's why we heard today that there's no continued communication with them. The FBI, let's do the FBI statement again. That was earlier in the show. There might be people that are just showing up. It's for more than a week, FBI agents, analysts, and professional staff. So just marry this up with what we just heard here. For more than a week, FBI agents, analysts, and professional staff have worked around the clock to reunite Nancy Guthrie with her family. The FBI is not aware of any continued communication between Guthrie's family and suspected kidnappers, nor have we identified a suspect or persons of interest in this case. Now, when they say the word identified, That could just mean they haven't identified to us. Hey, they haven't let us know who these people are. In this case, at this time, additional personnel from FBI field offices across the nation continue to deploy to Tucson. We are currently operating a 24-hour command post that includes crisis management experts, analytics support, and investigative teams. But I think this part up here when you say continued, there was no more continued communication. And to me, does this also tell you that the previous communication is, because look what it says. The FBI is not aware of any continued communication between Guthrie's family and the suspected kidnappers. That means that the previous communication was with the suspected kidnappers. There's just no continued communication. You get it? I think that's absolutely what they're saying in that. Yeah, of course they didn't pay. Right, so that is what's happening here. And so what that means is that they were talking to the suspected kidnappers. And if you know that and you listen to what we just heard her say yesterday, I think they know that it's likely she's not alive. I hope she's alive. All that stuff, we all do. It just seems like that's what they were saying there. And this is one of those ones where I hope I'm wrong on every single thing, because it'd be amazing if she was still alive. I want to be able to cheer with everybody else and be like, oh, yes, because that is Olympics. Who's talking about Olympics again? People who think you got to be nuts if you think it's connected to the Olympics. It has nothing to do with it. Okay? She's not going to the Olympics because her mom's missing. Now, you think that somebody went, I always wanted the job there. Why don't we pay for somebody to go abduct Savannah's mom, and then, then Savannah will be so busy she won't be able to go to the Olympics, and then I get to go to the Olympics. Yay! Give me a break. Man, use brains every once in a while. It's crazy. Or maybe it was the child of a person that would have got to go to work at the Olympics, and they said, my mommy should go to the Olympics before Savannah. I'm going to go kidnap Savannah's mommy, and then she's going to be looking for her, and then my mommy gets to go. Yay! Give me a break. See, that's why I don't like you, Gray. My idea was good. It was god-awful. Thank you very much. Let's do a poll on that one. All right, so up here we've got, out of 250 votes. Let's hit that like button, though, you guys. Come on, let's get to 500. That's pretty easy to do. I don't know what's going on with the likes. All right, I know I haven't said it enough tonight, but here we go. Hit that like button, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, hit that like button, 50, do it, 60, 65, 70, use your nose, use your toes, whatever blows, hit that like button. It's so damn easy, it's so simple, it's just absolutely obvious. Hit that like button, thank you very much. All right, and subscribe to the channel, too, that would be fantastic. Let's see. That was for you, Mag. I know you probably hadn't heard the auctioneer subscriber button in a while. Yeah. Who does? What the? Yeah. They know she's gone. They just want her body. I know the pain. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, yours a shorter amount of time, but very similar. Yep. Erica said, they know she's gone. They just want her body. I know that pain. I know the grief. I live it. I see it in the mirror every day. Yeah. Sucks. I mean, I think it's my mom, lost his son. My brother, who was, 22 at the time. And, it took her, I mean, she never really, you never get over it. But you can learn to live again, normal life, but it just never, It's always there, you know. And even for me, with it being my brother, it took me, I don't know, 4 or 5 years to sort of have sort of a somewhat normal. I think that's actually permanently affected me for my whole life, you know. But I think it's worse when it's a homicide, you know. It's like it's somebody took something from you instead of an accident or, you know, somebody's decision to do something that created a problem. But I think it's worse when it's something like, you know, what's going on here, and or a homicide like in Erica's case there. It's you guys should go look it up, you know. You look up the Mercedes Vega murder. It's just it's absolutely it's one of the most baffling cases I've ever seen that it didn't pick up on social media, because it's actually interesting too. Like, it had all these interesting elements that, you know, all mapped out, all this stuff going on. And one thing I wish you had told me right off the get-go was that she was supposed to be testifying in a trial. I think we would all have gone down a different route, given what we do on this channel. That would have just been like, oh, boom. That would have absolutely got us right on that track on day one if we knew that she was supposed to be testifying. Maybe that was something you weren't able to say. But that was just, man, it's insane. They had her drink stuff like, I think it was, they poured bleach down her throat. They, let's see, what was it? Shot her twice, like in her arms. And then she was beaten too. And then they set the car on fire that she was in. And she was still breathing. Oh, you didn't even know that? Oh, okay. Wow. Man, if you'd known that too, I would have been figured that right out of the gate. And she was found it was just on the side of the road, about 60 miles out of town, on the side of a road in a car. And her vehicle, though, was parked somewhere else. So they probably drove her out in her vehicle and then switched her into a car that they had purchased off of some, you know, Reck site or whatever the hell it was. And they used that to drive her out there. It's really kind of complicated and interesting. And, you know, it's just so bizarre that how some, I mean, I think Nancy Grace talked about it once and other people, but it just never picked up where it should have, where everybody should have been looking at it and would have got more eyes on it quick. It's frustrating how that works. It's absolutely, absolute nightmare of a case. And, you know, Erica and her husband came on multiple times. We went over all the stuff, and, yeah, they're good people. It sucks that something like that even happens, but it seems like it's even worse when it happens to good people, you know. So there you go. Part of me thinks the ransom note isn't even the person who abducted. Yeah, wouldn't that be crazy? But I think it is, you know. You know why? Because law enforcement is saying that right here. That the suspected kidnappers, are who sent the first notes. We just didn't get a continued communication. So they know that they put information in there that was enough. So whoever got these letters in the media, they probably have information about the crime scene that they didn't share, thankfully, that is very specific, and maybe they'll get the green light to produce these letters pretty soon. I think that'd be cool. Yeah. Anyways, so Erica, when the trial happens, we'll have you come on the first trial, and you can tell us what's going on in the drug case and the robbery, and then eventually I think the other one will be televised at some point. All right, And hopefully we can stream that one, and you can come on if you want every once in a while after trial if you feel like it or something, and talk to us. What do you think of that? And why do you think she didn't pay? Because I think they don't think she's alive. And then why, if you paid, what's your guarantee they're going to even tell you where she is? That'd be stupid on their part. Wouldn't you think it'd be idiotic if, hey, cool, Eric. Don't you think it'd be idiotic for a ransom person like that to say, yeah, we'll do it, and they get the $6 million, and then go, yeah, here she is. I mean, really, that's just stupid of them. So there's really no way. I think it was just sort of, I guess that last one, hoping that they would sort of give them some kind of a clue and another message that maybe, I don't even think just think of it from both sides. Why would Savannah send, no, Erica, jeez, why would Savannah send $6 million on a hope that a would-be killer would tell you where a body is? And then why would the killer tell Savannah where the body is and then hope that you send the money? So there's no way. The only way this stuff works is in a living hostage situation. That's it. Because when there's a living hostage, the other side has something that you know that they can give you, and you're willing to pay to get that back, but the person back. I think that this is, I think a lot of the clues out there, I hope to God it's all wrong and it's just deceptive stuff, and she's still alive, but it doesn't feel like it, unfortunately. Yeah, nobody has any leverage in this one. Right, exactly. There isn't any. Nobody has leverage. I guess Savannah has had the most leverage because she had the money to give, but the kidnappers had nothing to give her of proof. And then why would you, once you got the money, they should do it. They should have done it in a way where you give some money, you give like a certain portion, and then you get another portion later or something. That's about it. Put a 1 if you think this is one of the weirdest cases you've ever seen. It sucks for me because I use logic, reason, and common sense. I think we're in the ballpark somewhere, but I can't. Every time I put together a story of like how it went down, I can't. There's something around the corner that kind of blocks it a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, TMZ is a little bit weird, right? Like that's what we were talking about earlier tonight. Like, why would you send a message to TMZ as if you're trying to, just make it really, it almost gives them, it makes them feel different. Like they're a different type of person. Almost a killer. Like a killer that gets off on the publicity of it all and reading about it and feeling cool that they were able to. This could be something so different than we believe. That's the crazy part. What if this is literally a killer who wanted to do this to a very famous person to get as much notoriety as possible and planned it out meticulously, left almost no clues at all, stayed in the house for a while, left nothing in there, and then took her and somehow goes off into that good night. And then now is taunting the police with these ransom notes, etc., and then sending stuff to places like TMZ who are just so willing to blurt out. That's probably why they sent it to TMZ. Did you notice that every other news outlet did not show anything? They didn't show a damn thing. And that's because they have ethics. TMZ does not. They'll just throw anything that comes by. Wow! They just throw it out there. And they knew that of all the news stations out there, TMZ is going to put out information. And that's why they sent it to TMZ. Why didn't they send it to Daily Mail or Fox News or CNN? Or those guys don't do that. So wouldn't that be crazy? Yeah, right. Like, yeah, I'm not saying it's a serial killer or anything, but it could be somebody like a person that. I mean, this is just another theory. It's not my main theory. I'm just trying. Tonight's. We're trying to look at it from the family members and so forth not being involved at all. You know what I mean? Yeah, right. Why didn't you send it to NBC? Because NBC wouldn't have put it out there. See, this guy, Zozo, I think, wanted it to make headlines and the letter to, parts of it to be revealed, etc. And I think that's exactly why they picked TMZ. And I'm just thinking of this right now. I haven't really thought about the whys of that. But that's what I think. I think they sent it to TMZ to get it out there, create a lot of sensationalistic, and they watched it almost like a pyromaniac. They burn a building down, they sit there and watch it because they like to see the reaction. Kind of like how I thought maybe Koberger went back to the crime scene at 9:15 in the morning, just drove by it. He didn't go back to the house or anything, but drove by somewhere in the area to see what havoc he created. And so you could have something like this, and in that case it'd probably be one person who did this, and that would be that scenario, but that's not the one I think is the most likely. Mine is murder for hire with the red herring in there. All right, TMZ. You can actually spell their name sensationalism. I mean, that's all it is over there. They did that in the Tyler Robinson case. They literally didn't. They had so many opportunities to do so much more, and they didn't care. They just wanted to get it out as quick as possible. Was held for ransom and payment of $50,000 was made to the kidnapper, though the child was never returned safely. Did they ever find the baby in that case, or the child? Oh yeah, that'd be huge. So, modern day Zodiac, sort of. I don't know. I'm just saying, what if it is something like that? It would explain a lot, right? This random killer, he picked the target because it's so remember, people have asked this. Why'd they pick her? Why wouldn't you pick the mother of an oil executive and then just quietly on the side, get this ransom taken care of? Instead, it's an NBC host, very popular person on the Today Show. Then you kidnap the mother of her, and she had just done a story on her, etc. She lives alone. I mean, maybe they found out about her living alone through that article and that story. Then they looked her up, and maybe it still seems like though the person had knowledge of the area, but that could have been that they just observed for a while. I mean, you can see all those cameras, right? Maybe not in the one in the back, and they could have just walked around. And by the way, her cameras didn't work anyway, so he could have just got lucky. And I say he because it's it's not going to be a she. Maybe a she's involved somewhere in the story, but they're not the ones that moved her out of there. Yeah. And yeah, so it could be. Hey, Lady Bird, you seem a little overly dramatic, as if you just know it, like so perfectly. You know what happened. All right, just slow down a little bit, all right? Maybe it involves someone who really wanted to aggravate Savannah Guthrie. Wait a minute, I thought it was the person who, about the Olympics. And what do you mean aggravate? This isn't aggravation. This is, absolute hell. It's almost nothing to do with aggravation. Oh, I'm so aggravated. Somebody kidnapped my mom for 8 days and I can't find her. But I'll get over it, maybe do some yoga, some light stretching. I'll feel a little bit better. Let's see. You can look up anybody's... Yeah, you can look it up, but you can't see inside of it. I've already looked it up. I looked up the property already. I didn't look up her daughter, but I looked up Nancy's house. That's really the only one I care about, what it looks like inside. All right. How long have we been on here for? Getting kind of sort of long, feels like. Oh, 2 hours and 36 minutes. Maybe we'd do 24 more. Do a 5-hour day in here. 5.5. I did 2.5 earlier. What if they do have video and law enforcement is just lying? Also, I wouldn't call it lying. Yeah. They don't need to tell us anything. Cool, Ladybird. Okay, but you're just keep going. All right, I get it. Thanks for watching, Ladybird. I'm just saying, you're just like, there's no way this, there's no way that, and nobody knows anything. Not lying, but you get my drift. Yeah. I mean, they're just deceiving us. I don't know. It's weird that they would only mention that there was movement on one, and they didn't pay their bill, so it didn't record a video. So it kind of seems like that's part of it. Well, that's what they're looking for, Ladybird. That's exactly why the FBI's out there. And I remember on the first day I said, this is a case the FBI should be on right now. No delays. They're absolutely the best at doing this stuff, figuring this stuff out. And had they been on the case from the day one, that house never would have been turned over to anybody. Yep. Yeah, you don't have to apologize. Yeah, it's, you might say, I mean, some doctors have this weird moral question. Let's say you had somebody that was in a car accident with their mother, and, the mother died in the car accident, and the child, the 35-year-old daughter is still alive, but just hanging in there. And she needs to fight to live, and then she says, how's my mom? And you go, oh, she's dead. Well, that might, then they lose the will. But if you told them, oh, your mother's just fine, then they want to fight to live, right? And so sometimes they weigh the option. What do you tell them in that situation? The truth? Or do you tell them a lie for their benefit? So... Let's see, we're all guessing at this point. Meanwhile, there's an elderly mom missing for more than a week. All right, that's what we're talking about, Mel. It took a week for the country to turn over my aunt's house when she passed. It took the county, it took a week for the county to turn over my aunt's house when she passed away naturally. These cops are clowns. Yeah, well, the FBI isn't, They know what they're doing. Hey, look at that. Jim Lawn is currently enjoying a Fresca that he got after watching Caddyshack. What do you mean cameras at Annie's? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you're saying. You just said cameras with Annie's and you have a mean face. You can't see them. Okay, well, let's go look. Let's go look really quick. I don't see any. All right, let's go down to Street View here. I don't see any. Don't see any cameras. This is September of this year, believe it or not. Or last year. Just like 5 months ago, 6 months ago. Yep, nothing there, Zozo. We just looked, okay? Do you see what I'm saying? It's just, let me go over here. Let's. Huh, that's the same month. I don't think so. It's alright. Now they all look like that. They're all ranch-style homes, not too high to destroy the sight line. Everybody has a view where it's just kind of natural looking. It's pretty cool. As a matter of fact, reminds me, let me show you guys this really quick, because I've told you about it before. Just not even that long ago, really. But watch. All the way over in California, in Palm Desert, there's this place called Smoke Tree Ranch. And see all these other, look at this. Little boxes, da-da-da-da, you know. They're all just piled in like sardines, right? And then right over here is Smoke Tree Ranch, which has a very similar look to what we were just looking at. You see how every single house is one story. There's no two-story homes. All have their own little surroundings. They just started allowing swimming pools in the last 15 years or so, because they have a main swimming pool over here. You know, this is the, I would say the net worth of this little, of the people living in this little area right here is like, you know, in the just hundreds of billions of dollars. These people are, you know, Weyerhaeuser lived there. Hoover, the vacuum cleaner guy, lived there. Walt Disney lived there. The actual Walt Disney, as a matter of fact, on his tie, if you go look in, zoom in, you'll see the STR symbol on his tie on the bronze statue. They lived there. They didn't even let Eisenhower live there, if you can believe that. He wanted to be a member, and they said, you'd bring too much publicity. But see how that's very similar looking? You know, the wide open spaces, there's no, they don't let people pile in on top of each other. It's the Smoke Tree Ranch. Yep, and see, it looks just like that. See that? Homes spread apart. I'm sure you've done this, but how many roads out of Nancy's, what? Out of Nancy's suburb? Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, you can go this way to the right. There's really just these main roads. There's this one. This is a main road. And then there's a main road up here. And then there's virtually, you know, a million different ways you can get out of here. And then here's a really bigger highway, and then right on the other side of that is where Annie lives. So, you know, from this angle, you might get out there, but you could drive like this and then come around on these streets, and, you know, maybe, I don't know, it gets kind of complicated. You know, you're stuck. You go right there and you're stuck. You have to go all the way down here, and then you're stuck there. Then you'd have to drive up here, turn around and go down that street, and then come this way. There's hardly any direct routes driving through. They kind of make it so that nobody has a lot of traffic that, you know, through traffic at their property. It's just, you go somewhere and you come back, and you don't go through other people's property, you know, driving through their streets to get somewhere. It's almost like everybody has their own streets. Nah. Like, here's the thing. You said, is it possible it's an ex-lover? Well, I have to say, sure, anything's possible. Is it likely? Not even a chance. I mean, I guess there's a chance. Is it likely? Like 1 in 50 million. Let's see. I'm sure someone had showed something that's not there now. Yeah, we can't tell. It's, you know, and by the way, I mean, if they did have cameras, law enforcement would probably know if they had cameras or not. And obviously, they probably would have done something with their cameras if they did something with Nancy's camera, because they wouldn't want to be seen on their camera doing something. And there's probably a lot of stuff like that that talks about, hey, you know, their camera isn't, you know, their camera didn't work right during this crucial time, so that makes them more interesting. There's probably these little, all these little elements that point to certain people. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Yeah. So frustrating. I can't cope with another Summer Wells or Sebastian. Yeah, I don't know. Man, it's weird to me that people are still just absolutely following Summer Wells and Sebastian. There's so many other cases out there right now that could use, yeah, those ones. Law enforcement's still doing stuff. I'm sure they'll come up with something at some point. I mean, these clowns that are covering Sebastian Rogers over and over and over again, the way they're doing it is just ludicrous, you know. It's at least, I mean, I guess you could say at least somebody's covering it. What do you mean? What do you mean? What the hell is time focused? I mean, what the term means? It just means that that's the main element is time, I guess. Maybe it's the indicators of activity were found on Annie's end much after 2150. It's not at Nancy's. Maybe odd credit card activity. Maybe it's that indicators of activity were found on Annie's end much after, yeah, right. Like maybe they found that there was activity, they were moving around after Nancy was taken home. Yeah, that would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it? I wonder if the camera subscription had recently lapsed or if it had been subscribed for long. Yeah, it seems like, you know, just sometimes when you're elderly, like my parents, they might forget to pay something and then, oh, geez, I didn't even know. You know, because you have these things automated sometimes, and maybe a credit card, you know, ran out at some point, like, not ran out, but like expired, and they just didn't update it, and, you know. Oh, what were you saying? They are time focused on Annie. They wouldn't be doing that if there wasn't a reason. Right. I think there's something there, you guys. They wouldn't be over there taking photographs in the middle of the night, and they're back out there today, and they were there the other day, and they've been out there multiple times. They don't do those kinds of things if it's just they're clearing somebody. And when they say that they haven't identified people of interest, they're talking about they just haven't identified them. You know, they haven't said them out loud. They haven't said it to us. It's just a clever way of saying we have suspects that we're not identifying to you. Okay? Yeah, we said we just hadn't identified him yet. I mean, look at it. If you asked them later, wait a minute, so you guys knew about this? You said you hadn't identified him. And then they'd say, yeah, we hadn't identified him to you. That's how you could just word it that way. That's how I read it every time I hear that. We just haven't identified any suspects yet. Right. Do you have any, though? No, we just haven't identified any. No, wait, no, I mean, what I'm asking you, sir, is through your investigation, have you determined that there was a person that is possibly involved in this? We just haven't identified anybody yet. Okay, so you really do have somebody You just don't want to identify them to us. Thank you. Thank you very much. Don't pay for subscription. Doom, 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 doom. Hey, it looks like the Blazers might win a game. Another one. They won 2 in a row. They finally got their Denny Advia back, who hurt his back and absolutely smoked the Sixers. What family could raise is a sign of not a real kidnapping? I don't even know what that means. Man, I have no idea. Yikes. As a rule, the police investigate from the center outward, beginning with the family and closest friends. Sure, but do you keep going over to the house taking photographs in the middle of the night? And she did give permission. So here's the thing. I don't think Annie... my opinion is that I think it's more likely than not that Annie doesn't know what possibly her husband did if he's the one that's involved. I think she might not have known at all. Hey, look at Fig Solves in here. He goes, cops for sure are involved looking for someone on the railroad as we speak. He's being sarcastic, okay? We've known him. He's been around for all the cases with Koberger and Richard Allen specifically, you know. And it's always those dang pesky cops blaming innocent people, pinning it on some unwitting person who had no idea. They had no clue. They were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Ah! Banner day. Jeez, man, this has been an absolute struggle. That wasn't too bad on the night show later. But the whole show altogether, that day was just like, jeez. Yeah. Hey, look at that. 34 ladder heavies. Just subscribed there. Hey, do the coffees show up on the upper right-hand corner currently? I think I might have to fix that somehow. And let me look at the... What is the name of that window? That is the alert box. So it's this one. Yeah, it should be working. There, somebody sent in a $1 super chat. It'll show up on... Let's see if it shows up on the screen. Or maybe... Oh, so it did? Okay, good. All right. So if you just... This screen right here all by itself would show all of that stuff. It's a scene that I made. And so that actually turns out to be the scene that's in the upper right-hand corner. Exalts. That's so good. Yeah. Yeah, sounds like the same cop that railroaded Tyler Robinson. Yeah, that one. Yeah, sure. Do you think she is being currently held in Mexico? No. I don't think she's being held. I hope she is, though. I hope that the way I interpreted the last, what do you call that? The last video by Savannah, the one, not today, but the one before, that I hope that I misinterpreted that. It just feels like I didn't. It seems like they didn't want to say what they were really saying out loud. Like, if you were Savannah, would you want to say, we're willing to pay for you to send my mom's body back? That just doesn't sound, nobody talks like that. Oh, wait, that would show up on that other one. Hold on. Let's see if it shows up over here all by itself. Hold on. I think they come in late now because it's delayed quite a bit. So let's see. Let's just watch the screen and see. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I've had that transition for a while. I don't even remember how I made it. Oh, wait, I don't know if $1. I'm not sure. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure dollars show up on this. It could though. I don't remember now. I'm not sure if Streamlabs does that. But thank you, thank you. Oh man, my stomach's just, oh, Jesus. All right, guys, I think that's gonna do it for me, though, man. Almost 3 hours here. But I hope you guys found the show interesting. We had a lot of polls in there. Went over the FBI stuff. I think most people are that it was a hired hit with a ransom as a red herring. That's what most people think. A hired hit, though, you wonder what they were doing for those 41 minutes. And then at the end of the show, we came up with another theory that it was, hey, see you later there, eloquent pirate, a.k.a. Erica. I want to be in that box. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Alert box. Will it show up? Let's see if it works. What do you mean it worked? I didn't see it over here. I just hadn't seen that yet, so maybe I didn't get to see it up here. I wanted to see it on this screen, the big one. Okay, it showed up on the small screen. Ah, darn it. I guess I didn't kick it over. If you could try it, you'd have to do another 2, though. It would show up in this one, the big one. See, nothing there, just the... Here, maybe I'll do it. Hold on a second. You don't need to do it. All right, here we go. Let's see. I'm doing one to myself. All right, here we go. This one will be just the test. All right, here we go. Will it show up on this screen right here? Hey, look at that. Grant Hughes investigates. Good day, mate. Hell yeah. I should have it on this screen for donation night, right? Just let it just like ding, ding, ding. It just shows up like that. I don't even need my face on there. Now let's see if Saturn Dreaming. There it is. Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. Good day, mate. There we go. So it does work. It does work. All right, and if you go back out to the main, well, it would be there if I went quick enough. It would have been up in that right-hand corner. Made it back to her home. I don't know. I just can't think of a way that she didn't make it back to her home. I don't know. Maybe. You could be right, Mama of 3. I mean, nobody knows, really. There's no video of anybody, so... You know, maybe they've gone over there. But why would they do all the other extra stuff? Okay, so she's over here. So drive over there at 9:48, open the garage door, and then shut it. Okay, then later, go back. And then we're going to have to take some of her blood and drop it around in different places and then remove the front door and then jimmy the back door and just hang around there for 41 minutes or so. And then we need to take her body there, too, because we need her pacemaker to stop working in connection with her phone, which they know pinged at the house. It still pinged. It never didn't ping there. So here's the thing. Law enforcement knows exactly where she's been. They know that her cell phone and her watch, likely it shows, traveled from Annie's house to the home, and it probably matched the 9:48 to 9:50 time frame because the FBI is who gave out that timeline. All right. So that's it. So the fact that her phone and her watch are at home are a pretty good sign that she really was dropped off there. And if she got killed at home, they would have had to bring her body back home because her pacemaker would connect to the watch and the phone, right? You get it? So it'd be really complicated if you were trying to work something else. Yeah, I kind of didn't think of that part either, Mama, until and then I started thinking about it again. So hey, good. That's good. You know, it's always useful to do all this stuff because it allows us to think through why isn't something possible, and then we can remove that. And then you'll find yourself when somebody shows up asking the same question, you'll be able to say, no, that can't be because of this. It was sort of similar like when Nancy Grace they were talking about when Dan Bongino came up with the ludicrous theory that somehow Nancy hit her head and then walked out of the house and has just disappeared. And then Nancy Grace said, well, that's impossible because she could only walk 50 feet. And I said, well, that doesn't really mean much, you know. The truth is that do you think Nancy would open the door and remove the Ring camera from the front door if she actually got injured and was leaving and sort of stumbled out of the house? And see, that one is absolutely, completely debunks that because nobody's doing that. The walking thing, we don't know, you know, what that means, you know. People are saying the pacemaker part doesn't preclude Nancy never making it back home. Well, those people are clueless. You know why? Because it isn't just, oh, the cell phone quit connecting with the pacemaker stuff at a certain time. It's that the phone itself, they've tracked this stuff. They've tracked it. Now, it could be that they tracked it and it was still at that, you know, it was at that house. But just think about it. She has to have her watch on, and it has to be somewhat near her cell phone to be able to keep communicating with the pacemaker, right? That's it. And so how does that work? She dies over at Annie's house. You know, that's what people are saying. She dies over there. And then they go over to the house and do all this stuff to make it look like she was there by bringing blood in a squirt can. It's the stupidest thing. And you know that they've checked to see if her phone was at Annie's house, and then is it consistent with traveling to where Nancy lives? Now, I mean, I guess if it didn't do that, then that might be why they're over there searching around, looking around, stuff like that. Don't know. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? If her phone... But imagine the planning you'd have to do to make it look like she made it home. That part is just overwhelming. Why not just let her go home if you're going to do all those things? I mean, if you're going to bring her blood over there, you're going to do this, or you're going to do that, why not just let her go home and then just go do what seems to have happened? It doesn't make any sense to kill her somewhere else and then make this elaborate event. But I guess you could say that she was killed accidentally, or, you know, it's just something got overheated and she got killed over at her daughter's home or something, and they had to come up with a plan after that, so elaborate that I don't know, you guys, that stuff doesn't make sense to me. That's what I told people, that the watch was charging next to her bed. They know that she was in bed, she was sleeping, and this is what happened. It's way more likely that she made it home and then somebody went into that house after the fact. Okay, awesome, excellent. We go with what's more likely here. All right, I want to say thanks to Welly Awesome, Mike Redmond. Wait, I can do it over here. Hold on. We got Welly Awesome, Mike Redmond, Annabella Roma, Clad 157, Rock Girl Media gifted a membership. Then Pam became a YouTube member. Welcome. Then Susie Kraft gifted a membership. Then we have Coco Love, who was on the earlier show. Thank you. And thank you for becoming a member. I think she went to Oogla Boogla Freak. Then we have Paige J. Rocker, 862, gifted a membership. Then we have Big Runner Training. And then Cuckoo Laka, 31. And then Vicky White. Let's see, Vicky White. And then we had SBA for Rain. And then we had Perpetual Concepts. And we gave $500 to Rain tonight. And then Richard Watts. Then we had Daniel Gosen. You barely the best, Greg. I think they said it was a typo. They meant something else. Glenn Bush. And then Big Runner Training. Yeah, a lot of really good questions tonight. That was cool. Brizak 70. Nikki 6. Hey, we also saw Mag in here tonight, if you can believe it. Do you see her, Zozo? You might not have been here. And then Eloquent Pirate, a.k.a. Erica. Jeff H. gifted a membership. Then we have Nikki 6. Then Saturn Dreaming of Mercury gifted 5. Then we had Steve Hammondtree. Then The Homespun Wife. And then we have Teresa B. Dennis the Agent. Oh yeah, you're in law enforcement. Cool. Yeah, we covered that, dude. Just give a lot of money to Rain. Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. Then we have Jenny from The Talk, as in TikTok. Then Glenn Bush. Then Dom C. gifted 5. Thank you so much. Then we have Internet Jury. Became a new member. Then we have Cheryl Bullock. Gifted a membership. Then we have Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. What was up with Savannah lifting that Silence of the Lambs quote? Then we looked that up. That was pretty interesting. But it was really, it seems like they were sort of made to, she was made to say it. And there's Shoshana Grace, gifted 5. And then there's Eloquent Pirate again. Erica, gifted a membership. Then we have Saturn Dreaming of Mercury, gifted 1. Then Saturn Dreaming of Mercury, Super Chat. Then Craig, the Craig, from Craig's List. It's amazing. And then Mag, look at that. 20 GHI gifted memberships. That was like, boom, we made got to the 350 mark for donating the $500 to Rain. And then we have Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. I don't really know much about that trespassing report. I tried to answer it, but I know that Zozo was talking about it. There was a trespassing, the guy was talking about it, and they used a video from like 20 miles away from something totally unrelated in the story. All right, so we have Gloria Batari gifted 1, then Charlotte Denny gifted 5, then Lucky Ducky. All right, then we have Saturn Dreaming of Mercury, Phyllis Watson gifted 5 memberships, very cool. And Jim Lawn, as in 1.21 gigawatts. What the hell is a gigawatt? All right, and then we've got Saturn Dreaming of Mercury, Reavertown, and then Reavertown again, trying to get that in the box there. And then I did 2 to see if it worked, and then Saturn Dreaming of Mercury, and then Big Runner Training. In January is in Pierce, Arizona. A 75-year-old lady was kidnapped from her home and escaped. Oh, really? Interesting. Here, why don't you, if you email me a link on that, that's pretty interesting. And then Curtis West gifted a membership right at the end there. Thanks, Curtis. So there you have it, everybody. Where are you going? Hey, did you see Mag in here, Zozo? Can someone direct me to a photo of the sweater? What sweater? What are you talking about? that she never made it home. I will send. Okay, there's no way. Oh yeah, I will. Sure. Well, but you should make it higher than that. I mean, 5 if you're wrong. That's pretty. Oh, you did? Well, she was in here. She seemed pretty interested. Has some good thoughts, questions. Now, what do you mean the sweater? What are you talking about when you say sweater? You talking about that item? Wasn't there like a yellow item or something? I don't remember now. Oh boy. All right, you guys. Thank you. Really appreciate it. We will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we get some answers. All right. And who knows what tomorrow will bring. All right. I do exist over here. There's the bigger shot. It feels better, not having the hat on my head because it's not as warm. I know it's not. You're not used to it, but wait, look at I got this one from Golf. Watch this. Look at that one, huh? I got the Abandoned Dunes visor. Ooh, it's a step up from the usual Under Armour one, right? Okay, all right. Yeah. Anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, oh yeah. Well, hold on. Excuse me. I got more to thank over here. I always forget that over here. So thank you to the coffee givers. We have Lisa Valenzuela with a half bucket of coffee. Then we have Marty with a bucket of coffee. And then we had, let's see. We had a PayPal. I think, where is it? Oh. It was in here somewhere. Oh yeah, there it is. We had Lisa, Heidi, and I think that might be it. Yeah, there's 2 of them there. Okay, there you go. Very cool. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Oh yeah, and then I think there was another coffee actually. It was from Internet Jury. There you go. So you had Lisa, Internet Jury, and Marty's Bar and Grill. All right. Well, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person.
Quite a while, Gray.
That is a
crime dissector, threat rejector, I'm a certified human lie detector. I'm gonna get ya
on a stretcher if you try and play me like an oil projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Regal's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I mean a little specter with a vector on his specter. With all respect, y'all, just remember I have a type of fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm a pretender, and I'll send it to you sample of a blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody, talk to you later. Thank you for watching Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube, where we cover true crime using logic, reason, and that pesky common sense. Thank you all for watching, and as I always say, until next time, everybody, be safe out there.
Bye.
I remember the sweater now. It's like yellow or something, right? On the first day of it. Good night, freaks.